during the COVID-19 pandemic, they were often at the top of minds. EMS responders are normally the first helping hands on scene to any emergency. Now, in the third day of National EMS Week, we're hearing from a man who's helping East Texans through emergencies for more than 3 decades. GMET's Lorena Rivas is here now with more. And Lorena, how does being the first to arrive at the scene come with some challenges as well?
Well, unlike the majority of us, they have the essential skills to help in life-threatening situations. For them, every second counts to provide critical care. And Corey Clinton knows this is all too well from first-hand experience. He has been in the field for more than 3 decades. Clinton first worked in the Longview Fire Department as a paramedic, retired, and came back. Now he is the division chief of the Training and Emergency Medical Service in Smith County. Clinton says his experience, it can be difficult keeping first responders on the job because of what they're exposed to every day.
It's difficult in this day and age to see the number of things that people do and them stay in this business. So we intervene, we offer services, and that's proving to be much more successful. To be sure that there's no stigma associated with the difficulties that come with the job.
According to the national nonprofit group Reviving First Responders, a third of first responders in the field develop mental health disorders, including depression, acute stress, and PTSD. Even though Clinton agrees this job comes with difficulties, he opened up about moments in the field that make it all worth it. We'll talk about more about his experience coming up in the next half hour. Back to you.
Lorena, thanks so much. Looking forward to that.